welcome back here. Thank you for joining me on Friday. I'm here for Financial Fridays. Yes, Financial Fridays. It's new and it's gonna be late. Why am I doing Financial Fridays? On my Instagram, I have been posting tips and points on each Friday, calling it Financial Friday, about finances. And we just started, we haven't even done a lot, but a couple of my friends reached out to me and suggested that I start doing this on YouTube as we're taking this financial journey together. And I was like, hey, why not? I have the platform, I can just incorporate Fridays there. I'll be more content out, so that will be good for everybody, and everybody will take this journey with me. So here I am. Thank you for joining me here, and let's discuss this. Let's talk about finances. Finance 101. Finally, we never got that in school, so it's here. We're gonna crack finance and we are gonna be financially literate. When it comes to finances, to me, I feel like I had no knowledge. I haven't had knowledge in a long time, and it's about time that I educate myself for the sake of me, for the sake of my children, for the sake of many generations to follow, because being in a financial fog is not good. It affects our physical health, and most importantly for this channel, our mental health, because when you don't have money, when you are low, when you have problems with your finances, stress sets in, and that can majorly affect your mental health. So how are we gonna start with this financial health? First things first, the number one thing, just like I said over there in Instagram, pay yourself first. That is your number one thing. If you don't take anything from this video, the take home point should be pay yourself first. What do I mean by pay yourself first? You're getting paid. So if you're working somewhere, or you're doing a business, or you're giving, you're getting money from chamas, or somewhere you're getting some type of wage, some type of salary, you're being paid, and that's your money. Yes, it's your money. But what I mean by paying yourself first is taking 10% of what you get paid, of your wages, your money, your profits from your business, from that chama contribution. I know it was your contribution that you kept recycling, but taking 10% of that money and putting it aside and not touching it, and then working with the 90% as your budget. Let's say you get paid 500. So if you have 500, you take 10% of the 500, that is 50. You take 50, and that is your 10% you pay yourself. And then you have 450 to budget and to use it in your day-to-day needs, wants, and your budgets, paying debts and everything, your chamas, everything. This 50 is not for chamas, no. This 50 is for you to pay yourself. And by paying yourself, I'm not saying, you just go buy yourself, the newest outfit out in town, or, go to a restaurant, or go out, or use it. No, that money should come from the 450, the 90% that was left. The 10% you're giving you very less. The 10% should be completely separate from any needs, wants, or any budgeting. Where do you put the 10%? First of all, we're going to start with the basics, like I said. First of all, an emergency fund. Did you know that a lot of people, most people, majority of people do not have an emergency fund? Yes, majority of people do not have an emergency fund. And having an emergency fund, emergencies do happen, and they can range from like a slight emergency or to like something major that you can't, even with your savings, you can't even crack them. But when you have an emergency fund somewhere, it will jumpstart the process. It will give you a few strides before you start figuring out how you're gonna solve the whole emergency situation. So how much should you have in your emergency fund? Experts, financial advisors recommend that, which I'm not an expert, I'm not a financial advisor. They do recommend that you have at least 1,000. So having 1,000 in your emergency fund will help you with emergency. Hopefully, if you have an emergency, knock on wood, you never get an emergency. But if you have an emergency, you have 1,000, you can start, you can start the process. And if you need more, you can, get more. But having 1,000 set aside for emergencies is what at least experts recommend. And this 1,000 it should be somewhere accessible now. Let's say you have an emergency right now, this moment, you are able to access that money and go use it for that emergency. It's not in a chama where you have to wait until your turn comes. It's not in like a savings account where you have a certain days to get it out. You've not loaned somebody, it's somewhere where it's accessible anytime, 24/7, that you can access it and use it for your emergency. So when you're saving this money, if you can automate this money and put it in savings, using the mobile. Nowadays we have a lot of mobile transfer money management. You don't have to have cash with you, but if not, any cash that comes to you, put it aside and start with the emergency fund. Build the 1,000 emergency fund first before you keep building another. And after you build a 1,000 emergency fund, and if let's say you have the 1,000 emergency fund, you do not stop there. You keep paying yourself. But we'll talk more about what to do with this other money after you've built your emergency fund. But now let's focus on building the emergency fund. And let's say 500, you have 15 emergency fund every month, every time you get paid. And if you get money here and there, you get $20 here, you put $2 in there. If you get some money, just keep adding to it. It will seem like redundant because you're putting such a less amount of money, but at the end of the day, it will build up month after month, payday after payday, and before you know it, it will be a good cushion. And there's nothing good like having a little bit of cushion, like knowing, if something happens, I'd be able to go to the hospital and get a book or something and have something. And I know times are bad right now. Some people, don't have jobs, they work day in, day out, they get like a day pay, and it's really hard. But I'm saying that day pay, that money that you make in that day, just do yourself a favor, sacrifice, and try to see if you can save some of it. It might be hard not to save 10% for some people, and that's fine. You can save something, 1%, 5%. If you're not in a position completely of saving anything, then maybe in the future, just keep this in your mind. In the future, you'll use these principles and save a little bit, 10% somewhere here, somewhere there. Try to have this mentality of saving, paying yourself first, and then budgeting from the other money. We will keep talking about, money tips here, and we'll learn these together. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm trying to learn, and I'm trying to also crack these financial stuff so that I can help build generational wealth, help my kids and their kids, and generations and generations, and also help you. Let's learn together. So much fun learning together. So number one, pay yourself first. Every time you get money, pay yourself. The chama, if let's say you have a chama for what chama do you a chama for, let's say chairs, you get maybe 1,000. You take 10% of that 1,000, $100, and you put it aside, and then that 900, then you can use it for chama. Any money, and these only you don't recycle it back to the chama. These only keep it, and then you keep doing like that. Before you know it, you'll have a big chunk of money. You'll have an emergency fund, and you'll have more. Keep doing that, and if you can save more than that, kudos, do it. If you can do that more than 10%, do it. And if you already have your emergency fund and you already have a cushion, don't just click off and go. Stay here, because we're going to talk about what we're going to do with this money that we keep paying ourselves, because we're not going to stop paying ourselves after our emergency fund is fully funded. No, we're gonna keep paying ourselves. So keep coming back for more. Come back Tuesday for mental health Tuesdays. Come back Fridays for financial Fridays. I hope I keep up with this because I'm busy, but I'll try to. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you again next week. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like, share, comment. Let's do this together. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.